Okay, let's jump right into Proverbs chapter 1 for this deep dive. Our mission really is to get into the source material and understand its core message, how to gain wisdom,
Mm.
and just as importantly, how to avoid those paths that lead to, well, destruction.
Yeah, it kicks off right away telling you what it's all about. It says it's for gaining wisdom, discipline, uh, understanding insightful words, and living a prudent life, doing what's right and fair.
Right. And it specifically mentions it's for giving prudence to the simple, maybe those who are easily swayed, and knowledge to the young. But it also says, interestingly, that even the wise should listen and add to their learning. So it's not just for beginners.
Exactly. It's got layers. And it hits you with the foundational idea almost immediately. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Hmm.
And then, boom, the contrast. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. It sets up this choice right from the get-go.
That fear, though, it's less about being scared and more about profound respect, right? Acknowledging a kind of moral reality.
Precisely. Seeing that respect as the absolute starting block for any real knowledge. You can't build anything solid if you don't respect the foundation, basically.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And one path it really warns against is the lure of, well, it calls them sinners, people chasing quick, dishonest money. It describes them saying, come with us, we'll grab all this valuable stuff, fill our houses with loot, that picture of easy, shady wealth.
Mm-hmm. But what's really clever is how the text argues against it. It's not just saying it's morally wrong. It highlights how pointless and self-destructive it is. There's that great line, how useless to spread a net in full view of all the birds. It's like, they should see it coming.
Oh, right. And then it flips it, saying these
Oh.
people are actually setting a trap for themselves. They lie in wait for their own blood.
Exactly. It's not just about harming others. The text is shouting that this path eats you up from the inside. It takes away the lives of those who get it.
Wow, so it's a dead end you build for yourself.
Which leads perfectly to the other voice in the chapter. Wisdom, personified as a woman. And she's not whispering in some secret club. The source says she's calling aloud in the street, raising her voice in the public squares.
I love that. Wisdom is out there, available, practically yelling for people to pay attention. She confronts the simple, the mockers, asking them straight up, how long will you love your simple ways? It's quite direct.
Yeah, and she makes an offer, if you'd listened to my rebuke, I would have poured out my heart, shared my thoughts.
Mm.
But then comes the flip side, the warning if you ignore that public call.
This part's pretty stark, isn't it? If you refuse her, ignore her, wisdom will actually laugh at your disaster when trouble hits.
It sounds harsh, but the text presents it as the direct, unavoidable result of their own choice. Like, you ignored the warning signs, what did you expect?
So when they finally do call out in desperation, she won't answer because, as it says, they hated knowledge, didn't choose that foundational respect. They spurned wisdom's rebuke.
It's framed as the natural harvest of their decisions, not some random punishment.
And the ultimate outcome. They eat the fruit of their ways. They get filled with the fruit of their schemes. The destruction comes from their actions. The waywardness of the simple will kill them.
So, wrapping this contrast up, rejecting wisdom, choosing those crooked paths, it's not just a mistake, it's described as actively causing your own downfall. You become the victim of your own plan.
But the alternative is just as clear. The chapter ends this part saying, whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm.
It really boils down to two responses to this wisdom that's supposedly shouting in the streets.
Mm.
And those two responses lead to totally different outcomes, security or self-destruction.
So chapter 1 really sets the terms. Proverbs are guides to wisdom grounded in respect. It warns powerfully against self-defeating choices and paints wisdom as this public figure. The consequences hinge entirely on whether you listen or not.
Yeah, and that phrase, eating the fruit of their ways, that really sticks. It's about accountability for your choices.
Absolutely. Which leads us to a final thought for you, the listener. This chapter talks about wisdom calling aloud in the street, being really public. How does that ancient image of wisdom being so openly available connect with how you find knowledge and insight in our world today? Something to think about.